Imagine Taylor, who is planning to sell her online course on graphic designing but has zero audience. She gets inspired by one of her competitor who's doing pretty great in her business, and so Taylor plans to do a webinar launch just like her competitor. She picks up on the topic that not only seems intriguing but also converting to her. She joins several FB groups and starts promoting her upcoming webinar. To make it look lucrative for people to sign up to her webinar, she also offers them a few Canva templates. So that is if they sign up to her webinar. To her surprise, 50 people signed up. She was super excited. So on the day of webinar, something happened that changed the way she looked at webinars. Want to know what happened? Stay tuned. If you're trained to help more people and have a multiple figure online business in the next 2 to 3 years by creating and selling online courses, this podcast is for you. The Guri Show is for and by the course creators in any niche to talk about their newbie struggles, desires, thoughts, journey, and aspirations. This podcast is all for you if you have an online course or just the idea and planning to sell or launch or market your online course. Also, if you're planning to build your audience, your email list, your messaging, your marketing, and business strategies, this podcast is for you to help you uplevel your online business. I'm Guri, your online course business coach and the Guri Show podcast host. Thank you for signing in. I'm super excited that you're here to listen to the Guri Show. I hope you enjoy the episodes and do subscribe and leave a comment right below what you feel about the podcast episodes. So, back to the story. So this happened, you guys. Only 10 people actually joined her live session, which is actually good for a live webinar, not only because that's a 20% show up rate, but also because this was her first webinar. Unfortunately, the webinar bombed, as you may have guessed, for the following reasons. Number one, her topic didn't resonate with her audience. Second, she spent too much time on teaching. And third, she pitched at the wrong time. Now, I'm not saying that all these three things or all these 3 points cannot be worked on. What I'm saying is, what I'm telling you is that this is something happened in her case. So, now, let me explain what actually went wrong. Number one, she picked up a topic that was not strategic but informational. See, people love strategy, people love mistakes, people love secrets, but they don't love information. So if you're sharing information, people feel, okay, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, that's just how to content. And when I'm ready, I'm gonna do that. But when you share secrets with them, when you share mistakes with them, that's the time when you really hook them up with your content. So, if you want to persuade someone, use the former three, use the strategy, use the mistakes, use the secret. Do the same if you have an absolute new audience. However, if you have an engaged audience, then you can obviously provide how to content as well, for sure. In fact, in my own group, on my own Facebook group, I do some advanced training once in a while that is, completely how to. Number two, she spent too much time teaching and not on rapport building and not on building relationships. So people will buy from you if they trust you, like you, and find you credible. People want to be taught only after paying, and that's something we are wired for. We are wired for paid learning, right? The idea of free education just doesn't seem to be, effective enough. It doesn't seem to be like, yeah, we're really, into education. Number three, by the time she pitched, only 2 people were left. Unfortunately, none of them bought her course, right? Now, the idea behind sharing this story with you is not to make you feel that webinars don't work, because they do. And as I said, all these 3 points, we can work on a topic, we can choose a better topic, we can really work on how much to teach and how much, at what time to pitch. So it's all doable. Uh, the idea is not that the webinars don't work. The idea is to give you a better option. So not only you can convert more, but also have enough time to build relationships. And that's why I prefer a video series launch over a webinar launch. Okay. And especially if you're a newbie or if you're selling a high ticket product, maybe for the first time, then you should always go for a video series launch. And I'll tell you why. Because number one, in a video series launch, you have enough time to share the content according to the customer journey, right? And you have enough time to take your audience on that journey with you. Also, you have enough time to have conversations. That's such a strong that, so many people miss on conversations, especially if you create an additional Facebook pop-up group along with your, video series. And all you have to do, it's also video series launch is super easy in the sense that you have to just create, pre-recorded videos and then place them, embed them on your landing page. And so people can, watch them all in one go, or maybe if you're releasing it, on consecutive days, it depends on the strategy and the goals. And so, yeah, people consume it pre-recorded video, so you don't have to really worry about, how your content goes. However, in a live webinar, you're doing it all live. So, yeah, there are all great chances to goof up. So obviously, when you're pitching towards the end of your video series launch, like on the last day or, in the last video, obviously, try to make it like, live or what I mean to say is go for a live launch after you have shared all your videos. So that's one thing, but the idea is when you have Facebook group, pop-up group, along with your videos, you can really see the conversations going on inside your Facebook group and what elements of your video series people are liking, what is something that they are really finding fascinating, what is something that they feel is, like beyond world, and what is something that they feel is, super uh, just, something that they read every single day, or maybe something that they are stuck at, but, you haven't really covered it inside your video series. So you get enough time to have those conversations with your audience, and you get enough time to talk to them, right? They ask questions, you answer them, or you have moderators to answer those questions. In fact, the video series launch gives you enough time to create demand for your offer before you actually bring it out on the table. So, throughout your videos, people are watching and they are really consuming and understanding your methodology, trying to understand what's your vision, trying to understand what's actually going on, what went in your life, right? So you can always pick up one video and share your story, how you enter this online space, etc., etc., right? Your story, your hero's journey. So you can really give so much of time to spend, like, maybe spend 10 minutes on a video and share your journey. You cannot do that in a live webinar because spending 10 minutes on just sharing your story, or like 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe like too much, is really too much. Okay, even the 5 minutes, sometimes people just, don't want to stay in the webinar for that long. So the point is that you get enough time to create demand for your offer even before you start pitching, even before you make that, sales pitch. So just because people have enough time to understand your methodology, they can see your vision, where you're coming from, and all of that, they are, somewhere close to making that decision of buying from you, right? Now, Also, when you're doing a video series launch, you have enough time to teach. So it's not that you're rushing, it's not that you have to really convince people to buy your product towards the end. Sorry, it's not that you're focusing on that part too much, that sales thing. You have enough time to teach, so you also feel like, you're doing the right thing, something that you really want to do. Not only that, a video series launch also gives you enough time to cover all the elements, right? Instead of just focusing on just one aspect, right? The way you do it in a webinar. So for instance, if I'm launching the Profitable Course Academy and I know that I cover a lot on selling and launching and messaging, right? The video series part and etc. etc. Now, obviously, I want to explain a lot that goes into that. I really want to share what's the, you know, what's the basic or why you should launch, right? So I want to spend 10 minutes. And so I want to do a separate video on the launching. And then I want to do a separate video on the selling because there are different ways you can sell. You can sell on a sales call. You can sell on just on a landing page, right? You can use copywriting. You can use persuasive methods and sell directly using a landing page or a sales page. You can also sell towards the end of your video series, and then you just ask people and then give them a direct checkout link. Okay, so you can do that without a sales page as well. So there are different ways of selling. Now, I want my audience to become comfortable, become mentally comfortable and ready that yes, now they are going to sell their product. Okay, now they want to learn from me how to sell. And so I want to spend 10 minutes on that topic. I also want to spend 10 other minutes on the messaging because messaging is something that they really need to hone in on. Okay, because that's your face. What you say on social media, what you say to your audience, what you say to attract your right audience is messaging. Okay, whatever you post, whatever words you use, etc., etc. And so I want to spend another 10 minutes on doing that, right? Which unfortunately I cannot do on a webinar because on a webinar I have to really plan things accordingly. I have to finish everything in 30 minutes so I can spend 15 minutes on my pitch. Okay? And so that being said, an ideal webinar should last for like 45 minutes or maybe 60 minutes, but not more than that. So I don't want to feel that rush, right? I want to really spend those 15, 20 good minutes on the content so people understand my vision and my methodology and the place where I'm coming from, right? So that's why I always prefer a video series launch. Now, I also get enough time to introduce myself, share my mission, my story. I also get time to shift perspective if there's anything that I feel is coming in the way of my audience to take a certain decision, and I want to spend enough time to shift their perspective, shift their mindset. I need enough time, and I feel that I cannot do that if I'm selling on a webinar, because I want to spend that good quality time to shift people's perspective and remove obstacles and help them change their mindset if required, so and really hook them to to take action for their own future. Also, one last thing, usually when you do a video series launch, you have these um like you release maybe, let's say, 5 videos on one particular day, and then you want to release the last video, the sixth video, after maybe 6 days or 5 days, and that's the day when you pitch. Okay, now that much time you get to know your audience and to connect with them. In the same time period, your audience is, sharing the questions, sharing their objections, and so you get enough time to really um, do those, to fine tune your sales pitch. I'm not saying that change your sales pitch. No, you don't want to do that. But you can really do those fine changes, remove something and add something. You can do those last minute changes for sure, because okay, this is what my audience is really looking for. And so yeah, there is this this small window, and I can do this change. It's a feasible change. Okay. Now, all of this is possible if you're going for a video series launch, right? I'm going to give you an example. Imagine you want to create, I'm not sure how many of you have watched The Morning Show on Apple TV. It's a web series starring Steve Carell, Jennifer Aniston, yeah, and Reese Witherspoon. I love Steve Carell and Reese Witherspoon for sure. So now imagine if that web series is to be remade into a movie. Okay? Now, both of them will have different tastes. Both of them will have different audience probably. Okay? Now, I love to say that a video series is a rookie's savior and high ticket seller's choice. When I say rookie savior, I mean that somebody who's launching for the first time, and they are not really, they they're not yet perfect, persuasive marketer. They should go for the video series, because then they have enough time to talk to their audience, right? And know what their audience really want, and also enough time. And they can always, teach, and for all the reasons that I mentioned, I think a rookie is more comfortable doing a video series launch. For high ticket sellers, you need enough time to spend with your audience so that you can really have them buy your $2,000 or beyond that courses. Okay. Now, I do, however, want to take this opportunity and mention that webinars allow you to keep the urgency high so people act immediately. Okay. When you're doing a webinar, your main focus is to get those sales right then. Okay, so you have to keep the urgency high. You have to give them offers. At the same time, you have to tell them, listen, you just have 24 hours. Otherwise, all the bonuses, all the discount is gone. So you keep the urgency high, and people feel such a rush, and people feel that, yes, I have to act now. Otherwise, these bonuses, these offers are just gone, like, poof. Okay. So obviously, webinars allow you to make more sales. Also, webinars allow you to get more sales in less time, because if you're doing webinars, you have only 2 or 3 webinars, okay, that you might plan, or maybe just one webinar, right? And so within those 60 minutes, or maybe like, even after those 16 minutes, you get more sales. However, when you're going for a video series launch, you're spending so much time in creating those videos, right? And you're spending so much time in your Facebook group. So comparatively, webinars allow you to get more sales in less time. That's what I mean. Okay. Now, here's the thing. If you don't want to seem pushy, and if you don't want to spend more time building relationships and create demand for your methodology, sorry. So if you don't want to seem pushy, and you want to spend more time building relationships, and you want to create demand for your methodology, and you want people, like-minded people who really believe in your vision and your messaging, if you want that kind of audience to be a part, to buy from you, then a video series is a better choice, okay? Because it gives you enough time to convey your vision and mission. In webinars, people act out of this rush, like I mentioned. So they feel they have to buy the product then and there, otherwise the offer is gone. So you got to be a little more persuasive You got to really choose your words. You got to be really strategic, how you're saying and how you're placing your offer and what you're saying in your webinar. Okay. In a video series launch, you wait for people to resonate with your messaging. Okay. You help them understand that, yes, this is what they need. You take time to remove all the objections and the bottlenecks, and you take time to shift perspectives. And even though a webinar might get you more sales, for sure, a video series launch helps you get more loyal and long-term clients. Okay, so here's the bottom line. A video series is like a 100-meter race, while a webinar is like a 100-meter race. Oh, sorry, a video series is like a 800-meter race, while a webinar is like a 100-meter race. Okay. Now, both ask for an engaged audience, both ask for strategy, resilience, and strength. However, a 100-meter race keeps your audience's heart pounding. A 100-meter keeps them like too much into the race, like, every single second, while a 800-meter race keeps your audience motivated. So they stay with you. They wait for the result. They wait for the final decision. Okay. They stay with you. They are motivated, highly motivated. Okay. And when they act, when they buy because they are ready to buy, because they are ready to take action, because they are super motivated. They are ready to face the hardships. They are and the good. They're ready to make change in their life. Okay. When you sell on a webinar, however, people act out of emotion, people act out of rush. They feel that they have to act, okay? They have to act. You know what I mean? So now, people buy both when they are motivated and when they are in a rush, that they think something is scarce and they should act now or they lose it forever. And that's the primary emotion behind the purchase. Now, you have to see for yourself how you want to persuade people to buy. Obviously, if you are selling a low ticket offer and you want to persuade people to buy it from you, or you're selling a $997 product, but you can persuade them enough in that 45-minute window that they buy from you, go ahead and go for a webinar. But if you have a different methodology, and if you want people to spend time with you, if you want people to know you and you know them, and build that loyal audience, then definitely go for a video series launch. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this. I have so much more to share on this topic. If you're inside my Facebook group, Female Course Creators, let me know inside the group what you feel about this episode. And I have a free mini course for you, Your Profitable Course Idea. I'll drop the link to the mini course and also the Facebook group, and you can join the mini course, consume, and if you're confused between different course ideas and you are and if you're planning to find your profitable course idea, this mini course is for you, because I think people only choose course topics from one perspective, but there are different perspectives that you should keep in mind before choosing your perfect course topic. Okay? So I'm going to see you in the next episode, and do subscribe, do share, do like, and drop a comment what you feel about this episode. And I'm going to share more on video series launches and webinar launches in other episodes. For now, this is enough. I'm going to see you soon. Bye-bye. Take care, you guys.